was really weird to me that they kept talking about Valentine's Day in the movie, since we didn't remember that at all.
No, and that came up so many times at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
And I liked her hair too when it was red. I thought about Raggedy Ann.
Oh, that's funny. I loved Raggedy Ann when I was a little kid.
Right? So it's like, I was like, she's Raggedy Ann. Is he Raggedy Andy?
Well, he is kind of raggedy.
Right? So I wondered about that. But yeah, I mean, they talked about Valentine's Day. The neighbor sees Joel and is like, you have plans for Valentine's Day? It's coming up fast.
And she writes her phone number on his hand and says, call me and tell me happy Valentine's Day or something like that. So we were just like, what? We picked this out of the blue.
Mhm.
So we haven't seen this for a long time.
No.
I would consider this one of my favorite movies, but I think because it's so emotional, it's just like not something I can watch every day. You know what I mean? It's not like I whip this one out like The Princess Bride just for a good time. It's more of like a strategic pick, when I really want to feel something, which is not that often, because I'm avoiding it. But this maybe, I honestly might think this is like in my top 5 movies of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love the movie. I can't say off the top of my head that I'd put it in my top 5 movies of all time, but I will tell you that this is one of the strongest romantic comedies that I've ever seen. Not that it's really a comedy.
Just romance.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what category. Yeah, because this isn't like When Harry Met Sally.
No.
This is its entire own thing. But I feel like you've got a perfect garden that's just observed. I feel like, there was a lot of time taken, to work the land and plant the seeds and water them just right and just allow them to grow.
Yeah.
And I feel that the relationships between all of the actors in this is purely organic. Nothing feels out of place.
Not
forced.
Yeah.
No, even the small things, right? Like, I mean, when Mark Ruffalo and Kirsten Dunst are like smoking this joint and talking about the Clash. How many times, were you in college or were you at a party, and there's this situation where people are just getting really philosophical, and they want to talk about, what they're doing, and it's just like, okay, cool, and how they're rebelling when they have like a day job and like they're just literally like torching people's brains for a living.
Funny.
Right. So it's a very good film in that respect. And also I feel that Elijah Wood is so damn despicable that, again, it keeps you moving. It's just another element. Like, I did not want him to win.
Oh, God, no.
And I was like, does Patrick win? In the back of my head, because, again, it's been a while. I thought that the ending of this movie was different. I thought that the ending of this movie was that they met on the train again. And they just kind of saw each other.
No.
Yes, that was what I had in my head. I was like, they just see each other on the train after they've had, this discussion, and then they've heard each other's, like innermost thoughts on each other, which are so piercing.
Yeah. They're sharp. Yeah.
Right. And that they couldn't handle the situation, and then they just ran into each other, like the next day or a few days later on public transportation. That was my memory of the film.
It could have gone that way, It could have gone so many ways. I'm glad it went the way it did.
Absolutely.
Because that's really what puts it into my top 5. But I don't know, just everything about this movie comes together for me. The characters, the story, the way it's told, the philosophical aspect of it, because I really love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can sit down and have a philosophical discussion with somebody for hours and hours, and that's just my favorite thing. Yeah. Like, I'm not even that big on talking to people unless it's like a super deep conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the one time that I am interested. So all of those things come together. It's so well written. It's so well envisioned and brought to life.
Yeah.
And, you can just see the point of view. And it's funny, actually, that you were talking about genre and talking about, you know, romantic comedy, because I read that Michelle Gondry did tell Kate Winslet that it's a comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and told her to go very broad with everything. And he would also privately, on the other end, tell Jim Carrey this is a drama, and he had to play it completely straight.
Yeah.
So it's like, even though they totally were being told they're in a separate kind of a movie, how amazing did they come together?
Beautifully. And I think that Michel Gondry, this is the thing. I think that he likes to take people that are known for being big and funny and getting them to dial down,
Yeah.
because that's what he did with me. He was like, I really like what you're doing here. You know, this is good. But then you do this smile at the end and it's too big, and then I lose interest. You know?
Well,
And it
that's
was
funny.
but it was perfect again, because the guy was so specific. You're like, all right, got it.
Well,
And then he, it
I
worked
thought
out.
you were fantastic in that too. I
Aw,
was
thank
just
you.
so proud of you and so happy for you,
Thank you.
because that was just such a great scene. And you actually got to play a character, you know, it wasn't just some throwaway little thing. It's like a real character.
Yeah.
You had some meaning and feeling, and it was just a cool scene, and you did a really good job. So, yeah, I hope everybody will, you know, pop out and watch that episode of Kidding, just see what John did, because he did such a good job, and it's really worth seeing.